What's up guys, Chance here, and welcome back to another episode of my Modern Warfare Camo Guide series. In this series, I'll break down exactly which attachment combinations you should be using to help make each camo as easy as possible to obtain. Before we get into it, I do stream on Wednesday and Sunday nights at 7:30 PM Australian Eastern Time over on Twitch, so if you're interested in continuing the conversation in real time, swing on over and hit that follow button. In today's episode, we're taking a look at the new ISO SMG, which you'll unlock for free at tier 15 of the Battle Pass in Season 5. It has a super high fire rate and is ideal in close range combat. Even once you stretch into some of those mid-range gunfights, you'll find that your time to kill becomes quite high. Before we jump into any attachment combos with the ISO itself, I would highly recommend one of two pistols to run as your secondary. The ISO by itself has a 20 round mag and 40 rounds in reserve, and with its high fire rate, you can burn through all of its ammo in just 5 kills or so. If you run the M19 with 32 round mags and fully loaded as your secondary, you'll be able to share ammo with the ISO and you'll now have 175 rounds in reserve without taking up any attachment slots on it at all. You can get the same outcome by running the Renetti as your secondary with 27 round mags and fully loaded as the weapon perk. Given how little you use your secondary weapon in general, this is far too great of an edge not to take advantage of for the entirety of your ISO camo grind. You'll actually increase your total ammo count even further when we attach some extended mags to the ISO a little bit later on. Once you hit weapon level 2, you can start gaining progress to your first passive camo, which you'll just need to accrue kills for, so we'll move right on to the second camo straight away. At level 7, you'll unlock the woodland camos, which you'll need headshots for. Headshots are again a fairly passive camo for the most part, and there's really nothing you can do to speed this up, so I wouldn't give it too much attention to them, unless it ends up being one of the last camos you have left at the end. Up until this point, there's really no attachments worth noting, and you can equip anything you like as you unlock them. But once you hit level 8, you'll be able to equip the 1mW laser. I would highly recommend equipping this, especially since there's nothing else really of note at this point. I'll jump into some testing of the benefits of the 1mW laser in a moment when we take a look at the hipfire camos, but until then, you'll just have to take my word for it. At level 13, you can start recording crouch kills. Just a quick tip on crouch kills in general here, I would recommend against moving around the map in a crouch position because it's far too slow. Instead, just get into the habit of crouching just as you're getting into a gunfight. This will mean you remain quite mobile, and if you're crouching just as you're entering a gunfight, you'll also be a bit of a moving target, making you a bit tougher to track for your enemy. At level 15, make sure you attach the FTAC 225mm Dominator barrel, which is the first barrel you'll gain access to. Again, we'll take a deep look into the benefits of this attachment a little bit later on, but it's a great attachment to throw on at these early stages. Pairing this with the 1mW laser is all you really need to do at this point. Throw on your preferred optic and anything else to fill it out until you reach level 19 where you can start working on your hipfire kills. Before we break down the benefits of the attachments you should be using, let's first discuss some basic strategies you should be utilising. I'd encourage you to group your crouch kills and your hipfire kills together by crouching and hipfiring at the same time. This will go a long way to earning progress towards both camos at the same time and saving you plenty of time in the long run. Additionally, make sure you're utilising the aim assist mechanic if you're on console by strafing from side to side while you're hipfiring at your enemy. This will ensure you're hitting as many shots as possible by helping you to stick on your target. You'll also unlock the 30 round mags at level 19, which is a must-have attachment for any ISO build. You burn through the stock 20 round mags way too quickly, and the extended mags should really help limit how often you're running out of ammo mid-gunfight. Now let's take a look at the attachments that help us with our hipfire spread so that you understand how much each attachment or combination of attachments will help you in unlocking these camos. Starting out with the base hipfire spread, and you can see that at 1080p this is 158 square pixels. Keeping in mind that this spread is your maximum hipfire spread. What I mean by that is it's the point that your hipfire is at its greatest while you're in full fire mode. As I've discussed before, your starting hipfire spread is only an indication of your spread for your first bullet, and this expands out to your maximum spread very quickly. Now we're looking at this weapon at level 19, which is when you're able to start working on your hipfire kills. And we've already got access to the 1mW laser, which you should already have attached. This will decrease your maximum hipfire spread to 128 square pixels, which is a 19% reduction. Very shortly after, at level 20, you'll unlock the Merc foregrip, which will further decrease your spread to 114 square pixels, or a 28% reduction. This isn't a huge difference, but when you factor in the added recoil control you get with the Merc foregrip, it makes it an easy choice to add this to your loadout. So at this point, I'd suggest the following attachment combo for your level 20 ISO build. The muzzle brake, which will help a little bit with the side-to-side bounce of the ISO, the FTAC 225mm Dominator, which extends your range a little bit, the 1mW laser for obvious reasons to help earn those hipfire kills, the Merc foregrip again to tighten up your hipfire spread, and the 30 round mags to increase our kill potential without running out of ammo. You won't need to continue with this build for too long before you unlock the 5mW laser at level 23, which will cut your maximum hipfire spread right down to 80 square pixels, which is now a 49% reduction to the base spread. This will of course affect your ability to stay hidden since enemies will now be able to see your laser. However, in the interest of unlocking the hipfire camos as quickly as possible, in my opinion, it's a better option over the 1mW laser, unless perhaps you're playing Warzone and something like Search and Destroy where you need to be stealthy, in which case you may prefer to stick to the 1mW laser. I do want to point out something in regards to the lasers when it comes to hipfire. Interestingly, the spot where the laser is pointing is not actually in the center of your hipfire spread, and at times it's actually not within your crosshairs at all, which is really deceiving. Try not to get distracted by where your laser is pointing, because if you're aiming this at your target, you'll be really inaccurate with your shots. It's hard to do at first, but a good habit to get into is to remain focused on the center of your crosshairs and pretend the laser doesn't even exist. I don't really understand why the developers implemented it this way, because it's almost a sneaky downside to using lasers and it can throw you off visually, so it's kind of annoying that this is how it works in game, but anyway. Moving on now to level 25, and you can start working on your long shot kills. You only need 30 of these with the ISO, which shouldn't be too much of a challenge. The only change I would make to your ISO build at this point is swapping in an optic of your choice for the muzzle brake. This will help you line up your shots at those longer distances and provide a nice clean sight, which the iron sights on this weapon just don't provide. It's worth noting that when it comes to the ISO, anything beyond 30 meters will register as a long shot, so when we break down the attachments, we're only going to look at the effect they have on the weapon's performance beyond 30 meters. It's also important to note that without the recon weapon perk, enemy nameplates are visible to a distance of 50 meters, which is more than adequate for a weapon like the ISO. The ISO with no attachments will be a 6-shot kill out to 35 meters, and 7 shots for all ranges beyond this distance. We do already have access to the FTAC Dominator barrel, which increases our 6-shot range to 43 meters, and there's absolutely no reason not to have this attached at this point. Once you reach level 27, you'll unlock the FSS Revolution barrel, which will further increase your 6-shot kill range to 48 meters. Not only that, but it also decreases our recoil, which is a huge advantage at these longer ranges, and will help you stay on target much easier. So if we swap in the Revolution barrel for the Dominator barrel at this point, and take a look at the recoil comparison with the current build, you can see the impact that the Revolution barrel will have on your long shot range accuracy. Keep in mind that this current build does have the Merc foregrip, which is assisting us here as well, but this is equipped on both of these comparisons, so the improvement in the recoil pattern here is solely attributable to the Revolution barrel. Just to recap, your level 27 ISO build should include the FSS Revolution barrel, the 5mW laser, Merc foregrip, 30 round mags, and your favourite optic. If you've already finished your hipfire kills, swap out the laser for the compensator muzzle attachment, which is going to help you even more with controlling your recoil, which certainly helps with your long shot kills. Once you reach level 30, you can start gaining progress towards your double kill camos. You'll only need 25 of these, and anytime you record 2 kills in quick succession, you'll add 1 to your tally. This is another completely passive camo, and you won't need to focus on this at all. Just a minor thing to note, at level 36 you can start earning your Tiger camos for getting kills with 5 attachments. If you're running with the suggested builds, this will be a passive camo that you don't need to focus on at all, but good to know you'll be gaining progress towards these now. At level 38 you can swap in the 50 round mags, which I do prefer over the 30 round mags. Given the fast fire rate of the ISO, even the 30 round mags can run out very quickly. So the 50 round mags can increase your capacity to a really nice level, allowing you to easily string multiple kills together without having to reload. It will slow down your aim down sight speed and mobility, but in my opinion, it's worth the trade-off. While you're working on your long shot kills, you should gain access to the Stripes camo at level 42 for getting kills shortly after reloading. Any kill within 5 seconds of reloading will count towards your tally, so I would fire a round and reload immediately each time you spawn. And if roughly 5 seconds pass and you haven't got a kill, I would fire another round and reload again. Additionally, each time you get a kill, reload immediately unless you've already got an enemy right in front of you. This will probably result in some unnecessary deaths, but this makes the stripes camos progress super quickly, and you'll be surprised how easily you can get these done. As for reload time, we're going to take a look at the 50 round mag reload time, since this is my suggested magazine for every ISO build once you've got it unlocked, and you should already have it equipped at this point. The base reload time is 2.59 seconds, but at this point you'll already have sleight of hand unlocked, and by equipping this you can cut your reload time right down to 1.40 seconds. If we revisit the current build, we can now take a look at how to adjust this depending on which camos you've already completed. If you've finished your hipfire kills, remove the laser and replace this with sleight of hand. Alternatively, if you've finished with your long shot kills but still working on your hipfire kills, I'd consider replacing whichever optic you have equipped. If you've managed to finish both your hipfire and long shot camos, I'd be keeping the optic and replacing the laser with sleight of hand. The next attachment of note is the FSS Nightshade barrel, which you'll unlock at level 48. You should already have your long shots completed at this stage, since you only need a total of 30 for the ISO. However, if not, go ahead and replace the FSS Revolution barrel with the Nightshade barrel. This is only going to increase your 6-shot kill range by a couple of meters. However, it's also going to decrease your recoil slightly, so these two small advantages combined make it a better choice than the Revolution barrel. Taking a look at the comparison of the current long shot build, you can see the reduction of the recoil by using the Nightshade over the Revolution, and there's really no reason not to equip it now if you're still needing those long shots. Additionally, it has a built-in suppressor, which is a big upside, allowing you to stay off the radar without having to use an attachment slot on a separate suppressor. Moving on to level 49, we can now start earning kills with no attachments for the reptile camo. No matter where you're at with your other camos, I'll remove all attachments now so that you can start smashing through the no attachment kills. Even if you've got other camos that haven't yet been completed, you'll be able to rack up a few kills towards these while you're working on your no attachment kills. You're much better off knocking some of these while completing the no attachment camos as well. Once you've finished with your no attachment kills, you can always go back to one of the previous builds to finish off whichever camos you're still working on. Next up, at level 51, you'll get access to the monolithic suppressor. Now you should have the Nightshade barrel attached, so you won't be able to equip it, but I want to show you the range of the ISO when you pair the monolithic suppressor with the Revolution barrel. You'll see that this combo has exactly the same range as the Nightshade barrel. However, you're not getting the improved recoil control, and you're having to use an additional attachment slot to get the results, so it's certainly not worthwhile for any purpose. The last camo you'll come across is the Skulls camo at level 55 for earning 3 kills without dying. This is another passive camo that you won't need to focus on at all, so just continue working on any of the camos we've discussed a dedicated build for. If you've finished all of those, being the hipfire, long shot, reload and no attachment camos, then I would recommend running with the following build for the remainder of the passive camos. The Nightshade barrel is just too good to pass up for the increased range, recoil control and built-in suppressor. Your favourite optic is a good bet for the ISO given the blocky iron sights. The Merc foregrip has too many upsides for your recoil and hipfire accuracy not to include. The 50 round mags just give you an insane amount of killing potential when you consider the fast fire rate of the ISO, and sleight of hand will get you back into the gunfight really quickly when you do need to reload. Remember to pair this with either the M19 or the Renetti with extended mags and fully loaded, so that you get the maximum amount of starting ammo for the ISO. With this build, you can go on plenty of big streaks, so it's not a bad one to throw hardline and kill chain onto your loadout and have a bit of fun calling in some kill streaks along the way. That just about wraps up the video. Don't forget to drop a like to help get my guides out there to other people that could really use these tips, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know down in the comments section below which weapon you'd like me to break down next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.